Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Sri Vidya, for that very emotional introduction. Being compared to a principal was one of my dreams, so thank you so much. You made my life come true. Okay, can we have everybody's attention here now? Yes. So how many of you have ever participated in a speech contest before? Mostly everybody who was from the previous year here, and I think 2 of you are first timers. So it would be interesting for you to understand what I'm saying. Speech contest is the Toastmasters way of every year making Toastmasters do a lot of practice and rehearsals and build their skills to very high levels. That's how they do it. Every organization, every college, every university has some kind of contests or competitions. We were in Indian School Muscat a few days ago, judging the Jhankar contest, and then there are these Kaun Banega Crorepati contests and all those kinds of contests. But in Toastmasters, since we are the knowledge people, we are the people of public speaking and words and body languages, obviously the contests are in the same domain of work. So in Toastmasters, there is a structure of speech contests. There are 4 main contests, and there is a 5th contest which is not very common, but it is done in some clubs. The first one is the international speech contest. Now don't think that it only happens in international. International is actually the name of the format. So the format is called International Speech Contest, followed by the humorous speech contest, which itself is very simple to understand. Humorous is supposed to be humorous, but generally it is not. A table topics contest, we all do table topics here and we know what is table topics. And then there is something called a speech evaluation contest. And then the tall tales contest. So these are 5 contests. The contest starts with the club contest level. This is the first place where you can participate in the contest. And then as you keep winning, you keep going higher and higher and higher. So the first thing to understand in a club contest is there is a timing rule. Just like you have a timing device here, each contest will have a timing device. So the time that I am mentioning here is very critical. Because your timing starts with the first definite verbal or non-verbal communication with the audience. So if I come here and I stand and I don't say anything, but I start to do something like this, the timing starts. It's not with the first word, it is verbal or non-verbal. This is the first word uttered by the contestant, but would also include any communication such as a sound effect, stage, act by another person also. So that's how the timing works. Okay? There is something called as protests and disqualification. If you are a contestant, you are allowed to go and complain to the judges if you find that some other contestant has copied the speech from somewhere or has not used original material. So there are some originality disqualifications. In secrecy, you can go and tell the judge. Only the contestant can do it. Nobody in the audience can do it. And the protest must be given only to the judge or the contestant. Nobody else. And then they have a system how they will resolve it. They will call the people and discuss. So I'll not go in that. But I'm just telling you, as a right, you have a right to protest. At the same time, you also need to be eligible to contest. So eligibility happens on 2 grounds. One is that the club should be in good standing and you should be a paid member. If you have not paid your fees, you cannot contest. If you have paid the fees to treasurer but he has not paid to TMI, you still cannot contest. So you should be clear whether your fees have gone to TMI or not. Come and check with me if you want. And this continues for all the levels. Club, area, division, district. This qualification is there. Suppose you were good at club level, but at area level there is disqualification of this. You cannot contest. And now with new system, the new dashboards, everything is very visible to everybody. There are some people who cannot. Okay, so one more thing. For the international speech contest, there is one more qualification required. You should have completed 6 speech projects in the competent communicator manual, or minimum 2 levels in Toastmasters pathways level. This is only for the international speech contest. Either you should have done 6 projects in CC manual or 2 levels in any pathways. Rest of the 3 contests, you don't need any qualification. Even if you have done 1 project, you can start. If you have not done any project, you can start. Got it? Is it clear so far? Yes. Some people cannot participate in the contest. They are, if you are a judge, voting judge, tie-breaking judge, or somebody, you cannot participate. If you are a district or international officer, you cannot participate. If you are going to become a district officer next year, or you want to fight an election to become a district officer like PQD, CGD,
area director,
division director, you cannot participate. So, and if you are presenting an education session at like a DTAC, I am presenting education session, I cannot contest. So these are some very basic things. If you are a member in 2 clubs or more than 2 clubs, wherever, you can participate in all the club contests. But you can only participate in one area contest. So if you qualify at the club and you go to the area, you have to choose which area you want to participate. Even if the areas are in different divisions, you still cannot participate in 2 areas.
If you are different contest?
No, different contest is okay. I'm talking same contest.
Like for international, I can be in the area 9 and humorous, I can be in area.
Yes, you can.
Oh, like that?
Yeah.
You can do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm talking same contest.
Category.
Same category of contest. You can only compete in one area. Okay. It's given here. No contestants can compete in more than one area speech contest of a given time.
No.
Very interesting, huh? Even if the 2 areas are in different division or districts. Because in America there are 2 districts in one city. So they have made it very clear you cannot be, because some people do that to get more chances of moving upwards and things like that. Okay, so how does it work? Now let's come quickly to the process of a speech contest. It starts at the club level. The VP Education will announce when the contest is going to happen. You will register your name with the contest, with the VP Education, and then they will start to communicate with you as to the date and other things of the contest. Before the contest happens, there is something called the pre-contest briefing. You must attend that as a contestant. Where draw of lots are taken out. Please take out your draw of lot, and that will decide what sequence number you will speak at. If you miss that briefing, the contest chair will take out a draw of lot for you, and you have to accept that because you were not present when the briefing was. There are other rules to it. I'm not going to get into those. But you need to be in the room when the contest starts. If you are not in the room when contest starts, you are disqualified. The judges are generally external, not from the same club or same area. We try to get them from outside to maintain a fair and natural thing. Top 3 positions are declared in any contest. If there are 4 people, 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, whatever number of contestants, there is always a first place, second place, and third place. Yes. Okay. And winners move to the next levels, area, division, and district. And if you are an international speech winner, the district winner goes to the regional semi-finals, regional finals, and then international finals. This year the rules are changing. Yeah. Not everybody goes to district international. So now let's come to so this was speech contest. Any questions on that? I just set up the fundamentals right now.
Even president and VP and all
everybody. President, VP, mentors, past president, future president, anybody.
But only when you want to be in area like
when you want to become a area director or above, then you cannot. You should not. Okay. We will not come to know whether you are area director or not until April. But the contest will be in January. But the ethics say that if you are planning to contest there, you should not do it now. That's all it is. Alright, so now moving on to the first contest, which we will talk about today, which is the evaluation contest. Now, evaluation contest is a very simple contest, so to say, in the exercise of the contest. It is a very challenging contest from the perspective that you are not prepared for it. You cannot prepare a speech and come. You have to listen to the speech in the room itself for the first time and then prepare your own speech in the given time. Okay? That way it is challenging. It's just like table topics in a way. So how it works is that there is a case of timing. 2 to 3 minutes is your timings. The minimum time that you have to speak to qualify is 1 minute 30 seconds. And if you cross 3 minutes 30 seconds, you disqualify. So in the contest, the disqualification is not announced, by the way. So if you have crossed the 30-second mark, there is no bell. So nobody tells you that you have gone beyond the grace period. Red light will be on only. So you have to yourself be very careful that you are not crossing the 30-second grace period. So at the beginning of the contest, a 5 to 7 minute speech is presented. Who will present the speech is not known to anybody, only to the contest chair. It is generally a person that none of us know, bringing from another club or another area, but Toastmaster. And the speech is a normal Toastmasterly speech, 5 to 7 minutes. While the speaker is speaking, you will get a paper and a pad and a pencil. During the speech, you are allowed to make notes. Okay? Only on the paper given to you. If you bring a paper from your home, you are disqualified. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or you make notes on the phone, you are disqualified. In fact, you are not allowed to keep your phone with you also. Yeah.
So this speech which needs to be evaluated is not a contest speech.
No.
Some external.
It's called as test speaker. His or her job is only to speak so that you can evaluate it. So while the speaker speaks, you make notes. Okay. In that notes, you can make the notes on the contest note sheet given to you. There is a Toastmaster stationery. It is written on that. That will be given to you, and you should make notes only on that. You need more, 2, 3, that's okay, you can ask for more. But you cannot bring anything from your home. It's just like the school, test exams. Now, when the test speech finishes, all the contestants shall leave the room. And they are taken to a different room. While they are being taken to the different room, they will carry their notes with them. Once they reach that room, they will be given 5 minutes to make further notes. That 5 minutes will be timed by a timer who is standing in that room. At the end of the 5th minute, everybody has to hand over their notes back to the sergeant at arms. You don't have any more time to write down. So far okay? Then you are called back one by one in the room in the sequence that you picked up your draw of lots. So if you picked up 1, you are the first evaluator. So what are you evaluating? What are you evaluating? The speech which was given. So what it means is that everybody has to evaluate the same speech without knowing what the person before me has already spoken, because they are all waiting in a different room. Once the first person finishes his evaluation, there is a 1 minute silence for the judges. In that 1 minute silence, the second person is brought by the sergeant at arms, put up the mic and everything, and then they start to speak. And then third, and then fourth, and then fifth. And once all the speakers have spoken, evaluators have spoken, the judges will do their final tallying and then give it to the chief judge for. So now let's look at the judges' criteria. In Toastmasters, every contest has a fixed criteria. It is not that people can make up from their mind whether this was a good skit or not a good skit. Huh? Yes. So, unlike the skit competition, the Toastmasters contests are very, very finely designed. And this is the same ballot paper that will be used in Oman, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in America, in Germany, the same paper. Nobody can change a full stop comma in this. Okay? So now, what do you want to evaluate? To evaluate, you have to look at your ballot paper. This is the same paper your judge will use. Each of the contests will have different criteria. This evaluation speech contest has 4 judging items. What is the first one? Read somebody speak loud. Analytical quality. Second one? Third one?
Technique.
And fourth one?
Summation.
If you turn your paper, you will get the full definition of this.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does analytical mean? Anup, can you read please?
Refers to the effectiveness of the evaluation. Every evaluation should carefully analyze the strengths and weaknesses of the speaker's presentation.
So 1 minute. Carefully analyze the strengths and the weaknesses. If you don't do the both, you will get less marks.
Where the evaluators comments clear and logical.
Clear and logical. So if you cannot say, this was a very nice speech, I like your message. Is it clear? No, it's generic. You need to be more specific. When you say it was a good message, what was good about the message? The topic that you chose about taking care of your children, not with the stick, but with love, is a very beautiful message. And I could connect with that. Specific. Now you are saying this was good. But when I saw you walking, your voice is nice, very natural, but it was low. So maybe we can look at that. So that you're talking now specifics. Okay? And
Did the evaluator identify specific strengths and weaknesses of the presentation?
so this is clear?
Yes.
This is the analysis or the analytical quality of your evaluation. How much marks you can get in this? If you do a good job, you can get up to 40 marks. This is a 100-mark paper. The maximum you can get is 40 in this. How much time you should spend out of 3 minutes? About 1.5 minutes.
Almost half.
Almost half, because you have the highest marks. And this is where you are giving your introduction, building them. This requires time. Okay? Next topic.
Recommendations. Recommendations are an important part of an evaluation. An evaluator not only points out the strengths and weaknesses of a speech, he also offers specific recommendations for improvement. Recommendations should be practical, helpful and positive, and they should enable the speaker to improve his or her next presentation.
Again, the word specific,
Yeah.
practical, helpful, which can help him to go to the next level. So you cannot say, I think you should have used the stage more. Is it specific? Is it practical? Maybe that speech did not require a stage. So you got to justify it saying your speech had the opportunity of using the stage a little bit more. At this point, you could have been here indicating this. At this point, if you stood this way, you could have meant this. So I recommend that you should look at how do you use the stage a little more effectively as per the script and transition of your dialogue. Now you are specific, recommending, helpful, all of it. Okay? Don't just say it, show it. Don't just say, improve the stage usage. Say here, say, show it, demonstrate it. Then the next one is technique. Now, technique doesn't require time. So you have to give 0 time to this. But in Toastmasters, we evaluate to motivate. So your technique is motivating. Your technique is not saying you have no clue what you said, you don't know, you could have been better, people didn't like your speech, even if it was the worst speech. You never say that. In Toastmasters, what do you say? Your topic was good, but I have a few suggestions. You should look at that. And you have the potential to become a better speaker using this technique. So you say the same things, but in a motivating manner. Okay? Sympathetic, sensitive, motivation. The last point is summation, summary. Now, summary is very critical because it has
15 months.
not only 15 marks, it puts the judges off if you don't summarize. Because half of the judges are like me. They don't see what you do, they only look at the summary. And if you did not summarize, they will say, "Bekar tha, useless." Even if you did a great job at analysis or recommendation, the first thing they will say, "Summary nahi hai." So now some speakers have actually started to say, "So let me summarize." So even the more dud of the judges will say, "हाँ summary किया था." You getting what I'm saying? And if you talk to judges, they will say, "सब कुछ अच्छा था, summary नहीं किया, मैं तो नंबर नहीं दिया." So summary is critical in evaluation. Please do that. Summary क्या होता है? What is summary? Again, you repeat what you said. So as I said in the beginning, you have a nice voice, you have a natural way of speaking. Your message was right for this kind of audience. Couple of recommendations that I gave you: stage usage, the voice, and a little bit of more practice. We look forward to a great speaker in you. Fantastic. Summary done. हो गया. इतनी summary है. 15 नंबर मिलता है इसका. Right? Now what do you? Thank you for the light, but you have to switch it off now. I want to take 3 minutes more. Thank you. Last slide, evaluate. What to evaluate? So you would say, what kind of recommendation do I do? What do I look for in the speech? What areas should I observe? Nothing is new in Toastmasters. Those of you who went through CC manual, from P1 to P6, life is finished. After that, there is nothing I can teach you in the mechanics of speaking. Those of you who did not use CC manual, I'll just tell you, there are only 4 key things. The first is the speech organization. The opening, body, closing, and transition. The thing is, did the speech was right? Was there a logical opening, body, and closing? And did between one sentence to the next sentence, one story to next story, is there a natural transition? You're moving forward. The message, is it clear? Remember P3, general purpose, specific purpose. Is the message clear? Did you, by the end, were you left wondering what did he wanted to say actually? So message, the clarity of the message, the connectivity of the message to the audience, to you. Words in the language. P3, P4. Words, simple, no jargons, small sentences, easy to understand words, and language which is understood by everybody. Body language, stance, movement, gestures, facial expressions, eye contact. This is what body language is. The voice, the volume, the rate, the pitch, and then pauses. Very critical. The whole evaluation can be done within this. But you cannot use all of it, because each speaker will have some of them very good, some of them gaps, and then specific. You build it up. Okay, my favorite picture. You see what is this?
Panipuri?
Pani Puri, right? You like Pani Puri?
Yes.
Which is the best Pani Puri shop in Muscat?
Canada. Kesar.
Kesar. Somebody else? Petrol pump.
Bombay
Sweets.
Bombay Sweets.
Bombay Sweets, you see? Just like this, the judges are like that. You may make the best of the Pani Puri, but उसको दावत ही जाना है, उसको खाने नहीं जाना है, उसको Getting what I'm saying? Yeah. What they like, you don't know. Thankfully, there is a criteria in their hand. So it keeps them a little bit on the track. But when we do judges workshops, we find out that 10 judges will always give different marks to different people. Perceptions come in, biases come in. He should have said it like this, no, not like this. Why was he wearing this clothes? He should have worn it. Everything comes into play. So don't get disappointed when you don't come first, like the skit competition. That's the first thing. Okay? Everybody has his own taste and flavors. Second, but again, you just gave me 5 names, but there are 50 people in Muscat selling pani puris. Why do people go to these 5 only? They all use the same ingredients, same water, same jaljeera powder, same nimbu, same tamarind, same. But why people line up at one shop to eat and the rest of them not? Same ingredients. At the end, it is the magic of your hand.
Yes.
You all know the secrets now, I've given it, but one of you will win. Because what you can bring in, I cannot tell you that. That's your flavor. That's your chatka. Alright?
And then they
Thank you very much. My time is up and I think we should